Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 96. And I think one of the biggest obstacles for me is keeping my mind in the right place. And a lot of people refer to it as like mindfulness and mindset. And what I decided is I wanted to kind of look at it. I've been working through a program, the Zara Mahoon Unlimited, and we're working a lot with like positive, like law of attraction and self-worth, and that made me kind of think about self-talk, because that comes right in line with like Doc V's program, that we have to overcome the unseen forces, as well as the food, the exercise, the journaling. We need to tap into how we're talking to ourselves so that we can stay in the right direction on this journey. So I found an article in U.S. News Health section, and the article was titled "How Negative Self-Talk is Killing Your Health and Weight Loss Goals." And I really think that this is important, or at least in my journey, this has been very important. And the reason is that we all know that our internal dialogue is much, much worse than what we would ever say to another person in the outside. For most of us, it's much worse than what we would ever say to somebody else in the outside world. So I think that if we want to succeed long-term, we really have to take a look at what kind of things we're letting dangle around inside our minds and shift them so that they're helping us instead of hurting us or causing us to stumble. This article actually does say we can change our lives if we avoid, reduce, and limit and replace harsh negative self-talk. And it kind of even talked about how negative self-talk will spiral you into an abyss of failure. And it even referred to, hi Sam, it even referred to how self-talk, harsh self-talk, is that failure mindset. And if you turn that negative talk into a learning instead of a negative, hello, it will help you to turn negative self-talk positive to support your journey. Hi Sam. And so I do believe this, and I think even in Dr. V's group and in the law of attraction group, I'm finding that the self-talk is almost like that hidden thing inside of our mind that causes us to stumble. So even in this article, it kind of talked about our negative self-talk is that failure talk. And if we can turn that negative self-talk into the learning talk, it becomes the positive talk that helps lead us into the future. It kind of even referred to self-talk is how we learn. Do we want to learn negative failure, or do we want to learn negative educational improvement, move forward? Negative self-talk creates physical stress. And I think we all know that. If we feel like we failed, or we feel like we're not accomplishing what we need, it's almost like you get a pit in your stomach. So recognizing when you're doing that harsh self-talk and stopping, letting go of that failure piece of it and just taking it as the learning will help you to turn it. Like if you didn't have a good day yesterday with your eating, what can you do different today? Well, hey, grab a bottle of water, put in your favorite podcast, and take a walk. Do something to shift a little bit of learning into it and looking at it in a positive light to go forward, because you don't want to fall into the negative failure abyss that will cause you to lose the journey. And I've had that happen to me in the past. I've worked hard this past year to overcome it. And I know it's something I have to think about every day, because it's kind of hidden. You don't really recognize you're doing it until you make conscious effort to recognize it. It kind of actually even identified 4 types of negative, harsh self-talk, and maybe that'll help people to identify it. And the first one it talked about was perfectionism and polarizing. And really what this is it's an absolute good or bad. It leaves no middle ground. So you're either perfect or you've absolutely failed. And what we have to remember is that's not a good approach, because we always want that middle ground of learning. So that absolute perfectionism, absolute perfect or absolute failure, we have to let that go. We want to be working in that middle ground of improvement. The second thing it said, and I know in the past I've done this, but it's got to be gone, is catastrophize. catastrophizing, dreaming worst case scenarios, taking small issues and making them harbingers of doom, all the horrible things that can happen. So we have to stop saying, I ate a cookie, so I failed. I'm never going to succeed at this. May as well eat the whole box of cookies, grab the chips, drink. So often we turn it into doom instead of just recognizing it. And that's kind of connected even to the perfectionism. One little mistake doesn't fail you on the whole journey. So we have to stop. If we're going to dream big, let's dream positive scenarios. Okay, so I ate a cookie. I'm going to just grab a bottle, like I said a minute ago, grab a bottle of water, take a walk, and do something positive to offset, so that if you're catastrophizing, that word is a tough one to say, but if you're making something big, make sure it's big in your support, not in making you fail. Then it also talks about rationalizing as a third self-talk negative, and that's blaming yourself for others, blaming yourself for everything, kind of like I had a party and a few friends didn't come, so nobody likes me, or I ate one chocolate Hershey's Kiss, I'm a failure at weight loss, I can never succeed, or I only walked 1 block, so I'll never get exercise done. We have to stop, again, it's back to that perfectionism, making things bigger than they are, rationalizing them. We need to start trying to turn it positive, start trying to make it a good thing, and look for the good thing, the learning opportunity. Get rid of the harsh self-talk and turn it into the learning opportunity. Next item it kind of talked about is filtering, and I'm going to call this the Debbie Downer syndrome. And filtering is where you look at it, again, you look at, I took a vacation and it was nice, but the flight was late. I didn't feel good on day 2. My tennis shoelace broke. So you Debbie Downer things. Instead, like we do that in weight loss. Why aren't we going, hey, you know what? I went on a vacation. Sure, the flight was late, but you know what? We got to the hotel. We were able to have a nice swim in the pool. We spent a day at Disney. We did a day of swimming with the dolphins. We need to shift our focus to the good things, the things that felt good, instead of falling into that negative. And I don't know why we always do that, but I think maybe this past year has caused that. So we got to kind of grab a hold of that negative and throw it away. Like weight loss, we do that a lot too. I can't follow the plan. It's too hard. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? I only ate 1 cookie. Or, hey, you know what? I ate the cookie, but I drank the water and I got a walk in. So you know what? I'm making progress. I'm doing some good things for myself. When I caught myself saying that negative self-talk, I stopped myself and I made myself say something positive that I've done today. That I did walk, that I did drink my water, that I did get a big salad in, that I did get my green smoothie in. Maybe I had the cookie, but I also got the green smoothie in. So I think, and then I'm going to call the Debbie Downer syndrome, because I think a lot of people fall into that, and even on occasion I've fallen into it. So I think if we can grab a hold of that negative self-talk, toss it out the window, remember that's failure talk, and turn it into learning talk, we might find ourselves an easier road to travel, and it might make us reach our goals a little bit faster. The kind of suggestions that they had in these articles, and again, this was from US News Health section, the things that they kind of recommended to help you turn that harsh talk into positive is things that we all know: track and journal. And when you track and journal, it says kind of think about your food, your exercise, and your write it down. And it says to say your name. Oh, thank you, Sam. It says to say your name. So like when you're journaling, say things like, I ate a cookie today, but you know what? It doesn't wipe out 4 years of success. And like I said earlier, I'll grab a bottle of water. I'm going to walk down to the park. I'm going to swing for a little bit, listening to my favorite podcast. I've made progress, and I'm going to recognize the progress I've made, because tomorrow I can make even a little bit more. So we've got to grab a hold of that harsh talk. And I think too many of us live in that harsh place, and we've got to flip it. Harsh negative talk is failure talk. We are better than that. That's a Doc V thing. You can tell I've been listening to him a long time. We are better than that. We are not harsh negative self-talk. We are learning. And as we learn, we get better. And we are no longer in that black or white. We're in the middle ground, improving every day, because we're headed towards the light. We're headed towards the win. We're headed towards the checkered flag, because we are going to succeed. So thank you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.